Howdy folks, I thought I would record this video from outside because it's such a gorgeous day. And I also wanted to make a point about, isn't this why we do what we do, right? We don't have to go to an office necessarily. We don't have to sit behind a desk 9 to 5, 6 days a week or whatever. That's kind of why we try and work for ourselves, work in small groups so that we can have sort of days where when it looks like this, we can hopefully work outside and maybe chill, not do the grind, the run to the train, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I did want to talk about one thing today that's sort of related to this, which is the question of response times to your clients, right? Like a lot of times, people, when they see me out or I'm having coffee or I'm relaxing during the day, they'll say like, how is it that you're not sitting in front of the computer making sure that everything's okay with your sites? I mean, what happens if something goes down? Aren't you sort of, if you offer quality maintenance and support services, aren't you sort of on the hook for 24-hour service? So I wanted to talk about that a little bit. And the answer really is no. And here's how. Number one, if you do maintenance right, and you might know this, sites don't go down that often. They really, really don't. If you've assessed the sites that are coming in correctly, you turn down the ones that are built shoddily or on infrastructure that maybe isn't 100% where it should be. And you can refer back to all of our materials about how to do an assessment, how to make sure that's the case, all that kind of stuff. We have checklists and write-ups and stuff that you can use. If you've done that right, and then you also set up the maintenance correctly, so you're doing every 5-minute uptime checks, you're doing every 12-hour malware checks, you're going to pretty quickly get things figured out for a certain site, and it's not going to go down that often. Now, if it does go down, and again, all these instructions are on the website, if it does go down, you should, and you are needed like immediately for an emergency type situation, you should have notifications going to your phone. We have them generally going texted to our cell phones, and then also we have notifications that automatically integrate with Slack and ping everyone's Slack to let them know, there's an emergency. That happens maybe once a month at most. So number one is make sure that you're onboarding sites correctly and you're identifying the particular risks that exist. You don't want to take on anything that's going to be a shit show. You know it's going to be a shit show. If you do take something on, you want to either know it's not a shit show or you can unshit show it before you really get it into the flow. Number two is you want to have automatic notifications going to your phone and to your Slack. And again, we have documentation on how to do that. Number three, though, and I think this is really also critical, outside of those emergency situations, which again only happen about once a month for us, if they're happening more often for you, you should really look into why. Outside of those emergency situations, our clients still expect us to be responsive to them. For non-emergency situations, things like advice, can we change this landing page, can we update this menu, the slideshow looks a little wonky on iPhone or whatever, that kind of stuff. The second thing is to set up a really clear expectation of what the response time is going to be. If you don't set up an expectation, generally the expectation is you're going to be, because you're a computer person, you're going to be around the computer all the time. And so clients sort of, at least in our case, our experience, tend to gain this expectation from the ether, that you're a magical support person that's always on the computer, et cetera, et cetera. What we do, though, is we make it really clear at the beginning, and we have, again, a template for an expectations type document you can use, which, again, you can get on the website, that sets up the expectation that we will respond to requests that come in on the same day if they're sent before 4 p.m. And that's what you should do. You should set a cutoff time. So you can say, if you send us a request during the middle or a phone call or an email or a Basecamp message, before 4 p.m., we'll get to it the same day with at least an acknowledgement of receipt and what we're going to do with it. Doesn't mean we're going to change the thing. Maybe it's a long project. Maybe it's something that takes a while. Maybe you have a bit of a backlog. But what you want to say is if you set the expectation that if you get something before 4, you'll at least respond to it, that relieves the anxiety on the client side. And again, our whole business is about anxiety reduction. That is it. We don't make websites. We don't secure websites. We don't maintain websites. We don't update websites. We just relieve our clients' anxiety about these things being dealt with. Technology is scary to people. Technology providers are scary to people. They have had bad experiences in the past. They're worried that you're going to suck. They're worried that you're not going to get back to them. If you set the expectation up front that you're going to respond to anything that comes in before 4 p.m. on the same day, and you actually follow that, they will know when they're going to get responded to. That way you can go about your day. You can respond to things the way you want to. What I try and do is just at the end of the day, before I go and take care of the kids at 5 o'clock, all my coworkers do this. We make sure that if we haven't had time earlier in the day to respond to things, if we've been at I have to take my kid to the doctor today, I'm going to do that between 1 and 3, just to check up, not a big deal. Clients don't need to know that, right? They don't need to know my personal life, that I have a child and he's turning 4, so he needs to go to the doctor for a checkup. But at least they have in their mind, I know that if I send something before 4, these guys will reply to it. So at the end of the day, if I haven't done it already at 5:30, I run through my messages real quick and say, got this, we'll take care of it tomorrow. Got this, we'll take care of it Thursday. Got this is a bigger conversation, why don't we set up a phone call for Friday? Got this, working on it. That kind of stuff. And really, all you're looking to do there is to relieve the anxiety that the person has. And that's, again, our whole business. So, to review, I highly encourage you to have flexible work schedules. I highly encourage you to take advantage of beautiful days outside. I highly encourage you to take your child to the doctor. That's why we do this kind of work. But make sure you're doing 2 things. One, I guess 3. Make sure you're doing 3 things. 1, assessing the sites that come on board correctly so you don't onboard any crazy ones. Number 2, you have emergency-based notifications to your cell phone and your Slack so that you can address things that are emergencies right away. Hopefully that'll happen once a month or less. Number 3, for non-emergency communications, set the expectation up front that you will respond to anything that comes in before 4 p.m. on the same day. Anything that comes in by 4 p.m., after 4 p.m., you'll respond to the next morning. So that's my tip for today. Curious what your thoughts are, how you deal with this, whether you have a better approach. This is what we advise now, but obviously always happy to hear from people and see how it's going for you. Let us know. All right, bye.